Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the Boomer Bust Podcast. I'm your host, Shoot the Rock. I'm here with my boy Matt. How we doing today, Matt?
Good, good. Finally got done wrapping up March Madness. Hectic month of March, turning the corner to NFL draft coming up. Start of actual baseball week, I would say. Full week of baseball, and yeah, not a better time for sports right now. So I'm doing good. How about you, Derek? How's your day going, man?
Doing pretty good. I mean, home for Easter, so happy Easter to all those who celebrate. Yeah, I mean, I gotta give you credit. You did call during the second weekend. If there was a team outside Alabama that was gonna win it all, you said it was UConn, and boy, did they dominate. Not, I
Yeah.
mean, San Diego State made it a game for a little bit there, but it was pretty much always UConn had it kind of in hand. So.
Yeah, for sure. Which was just crazy to see a team throughout the whole course of the tournament run to just be dominant against teams. Like you usually get a couple close games in there, and they just every team they played that stepped up to the plate against them knocked them right off. So yeah, that was a good call for me, and probably the best call of my life. And it wasn't even a great call because I called in the Sweet 16, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll take it. But yeah, we're going to be giving some more calls today. We're going to be wrapping up the show with our Masters picks. We're going to give some NBA play-in predictions. But like Matt said, baseball's starting to be in full swing here. We're about 1 week into the season now. So we're going to start off the show giving our boom and bust teams for the first week of baseball here. So Matt, who was your boom team that really impressed you here in this first week?
Outside of this game last night against the Orioles, I'm gonna go with the Texas Rangers here. Jacob DeGrom, his much anticipated first start for the Rangers to kick off the season against the Phillies, only lasted about 3.5 innings, giving up 6 hits and 5 earned runs. Not great, but when your team backs you up with 11 of their own runs, the pitching can afford to be mediocre for now. So they handled the defending National League champion Phillies pretty well, and they went on to just put up runs that whole series. I mean, another 15-3 rout the next game, game two that they played, and then Sunday Night Baseball they proved when they need spectacular pitching from Martin Perez, he can deliver. So they swept the Phillies. Then they went to play Baltimore, ended up losing the series 1-2. But they're really shocking me. I thought this would be a team that relied heavily on their bullpen and their starting pitchers, and their bats have been really alive lately. So that's definitely something to look out for. Marcus Simeon and Nathaniel Lowe has been hitting a lot. You got Josh Jung already with 2 homers on the season. So I would have usually thought it'd be the dominant for the pitching for the Rangers, and so far it's been their bats. So they're definitely the team that's shocked me or surprised me to be my boom team slightly. How about you, Derek? Who's your boom team?
I'm going over to the National League here. I'm going with the Milwaukee Brewers. After losing opening day to the Cubs, not a great game, not great weather at Wrigley. They're now 5-0, won 5 straight, including sweeping the defending NL East champion New York Mets and putting up an offensive show. They win 10-0 the first game, 9-0 the second game, and then Garrett Mitchell walks it off with a walk-off homer for a 7-6 win for the Brewers to finish off the sweep. So yeah, young guys have been playing well. Garrett Mitchell, like I said, walk-off homer yesterday, had a funny quote. He was like, well, I do better when my wife's not here. And she wasn't there yesterday, so he said he's going to hit a walk-off homer. Joey Weimer's been fun to watch. Bryce Terang. And this is a team, the Milwaukee Brewers, last year definitely, underachieved. Didn't make the playoffs after winning the division the year prior. And if we can get some of these young guys for them to really step up, I think that could be what gets them back. Maybe not winning the NL Central, but at least in the wild card chase. And I mean, a team like the Mets here is a team that they're going to be battling with for that position. So that was a really big series win for them. And then, I mean, you were high on the Cubs. Well, they took down the Cubs at Miller Park South. So, good start for them. And then, I mean, can't help but mention they weren't my team just because they've played some not great opponents. But the Rays were started 6-0. That's like we were talking about. That's going to be a pretty hot contested division. So 6-0, granted against the Tigers and Nationals. But they, too, have had some guys playing. Randy Rosarena has been fun to watch. He played well in the World Baseball Classic. He's carrying that on here. So I'm cheating a little bit going with 2 teams. But my main team's the Brewers, and then got to throw in the Rays there.
There you go. Yeah, that Brewers Mets series, that was fun to watch. It felt like every at bat or every inning, it was a home run, man. Like those 2 back-to-back block games, home run. Next
Yeah.
inning, home run. They were just going yard on the Mets. So that is a big series though, like you said, because that wild card could definitely come down to the Brewers Mets, and those games definitely do matter. So I like
Exactly.
that pick.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, not very often you're gonna be taking Max Scherzer back to back to back. So
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
weekend for the Brewers bats. All right, Matt. So who is your bust team then? And seeing that you're just kind of disappointed with after this first week.
It's the exact team that played the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's the Chicago Cubs. They've been the only team all year to lead in all 5 games that they've played this year, and they just cannot. Their relief pitching cannot hold them through. Like that game against the Reds on April 3rd on Monday. Justin or Keegan Thompson gave us 4 good innings, no earned runs, 1 hit. Then we put in Drew Smiley, gives up 9 hits and 6 earned runs. And we got man on first and second, and we got Grandpa Rossi asking Wisdom to bunt in the bottom of the 8th. So top of the 8th, some just questionable decision making from the Cubs, and their bullpen arms have, like I said, would be a big factor coming into this season, have been letting us down. And yeah, it's just been sad to see. I really wanted to see that Hunter Green, Marcus Stroman game that they had, but it got rained out, delay. So I'm sure we'll see it again soon. But yeah, Cubs just been not performing when it matters most in those late innings lately, and it's sad to see, especially early in the season against these division opponents. So not looking great for the Cubs to start off. But Dansby is looking great to start off. That's one positive to take away from the Chicago Cubs, but they're definitely my bust team so far through these 5-6 games we've seen.
Yeah, I mean he's fun to watch. That was a big signing for them, but
Yeah.
I know you were high in them. I don't know if they were quite ready, and I think these first
Yeah.
couple of games have been a bit of an indication
Prove that.
of that.
For sure.
For me, I'm gonna switch it up, similar to how you were. We switching leagues for both of them here. I'm going the Seattle Mariners, a team that we both, were pretty high on. I had them as my, or no, I didn't have. You had them as your sleeper to win the World Series.
Yep.
2 series here at home, and we start 2-5. That's not a great look. Win the first game, opening day, big win. Nice pitching performance there from Luis Castillo, and then, the homer by Ty France. But then losing 3 straight to the Guardians, and then a team that, for years now, they've kind of been the joke. Oh, we have Trout and Ohtani, but they never, have been able to put it all together, make a postseason run. Well, maybe this year they can. They take 2 or 3 of the Mariners, and I mean, if the Angels are going to go on a run, that's not good news for the Mariners. So losing 2 or 3 to them, I mean, given the one game they did win, they did score 11 runs, but I mean, yesterday just didn't really get a whole lot going, especially either on Monday. So I mean, to start 2-5 with all home games and against 2 teams you'll be competing against in the division or at least in the wild card race.
Wild card race, yeah.
Not a good start. Not a good start for the Mariners. And then another team, originally I thought this was who you're going to take. Philadelphia Phillies, man.
Yeah. Disappointing.
Getting swept by your Texas Rangers. So, yeah, the Rangers did play well. I'll give them that. But, I mean, they got to DeGrom on opening day, and then they just gave up that, 9-run inning.
Yep. Aaron Nola did not pitch well at the end of that, and they pulled them a little too late in my eyes. But, yeah, Phillies definitely have been getting beaten up recently. Then they go to play the Yankees. They lose 8-1. They do steal one game away from the Yankees in a 4-1 victory, but then they lose yesterday. I think it was 4-2, 4-3, 4-2. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little early slump, and obviously, Bryce and Reese is done for the year, so it's gonna take a little time, I think, for that roster and those bats to kind of get consistent. And this goes for every team. I mean, we're just out here spitting early predictions, but it is scary because then you can kind of look back and think, are they possibly getting the World Series hangover with their pitching? Are they getting too tired too quickly? And yeah, the Phillies are definitely a team up there we got to keep our eye on, though, because it could get a slippery slope real fast there in Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just with how competitive that division is going to be. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we're going to move on here. Switch it up. Go to the NBA. Keeping up with the association. We have, 4 days? 3 days left?
4 days left.
Crazy. Kind of jumps out on you, especially now that with the play-in moving up the schedule a little bit. Yeah, pretty much once March Madness is over, it's literally like a week, and then NBA's right there as well. So, Matt, where do we want to start here? What kind of drama, what storylines have caught your eye this past week in the NBA?
I'm gonna go to the West, and I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Lakers. Getting in there at the 7 right now, sitting at the 7 at a 41-39, a game behind Golden State in the 6th. They've really made a push here towards the end. Obviously, getting LeBron back has been huge for them. We knew that would matter most in these last week or 2 weeks of the association. So, but they've been clicking. Him and AD are kind of getting back on the same page, which is good to see. It's considering they only ever play, it seems like 30 games a year together. One's built of glass and the other's always off the floor. So. But they've been making a sneaky run here, and I think there's a good chance that they could get the 6 and finish above the Warriors and not have to play in that play-in. However, I do think they'll finish at the 7th and end up playing in that play-in. But yeah, the Lakers are definitely the team that's caught my eye. I think everybody knew that they were going to be on the teeter ending of getting in at that 10-9, but they've performed better. Hopefully get a 7 matchup against the Thunder. First round would be ideal for them, but yeah, it's definitely the Lakers for me that's caught my eye in this last week and a half of NBA. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing well. Last night was a tough loss for them, losing to the Clippers.
Yeah.
They could have jumped all the way up to, I believe they would have been 5th. Granted,
Yep.
that might kind of be the spot of death here, having to play Phoenix in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
For me, man, I mean, we always talk about it, but the Mavs are definitely having some buyer's remorse. Like, Cuban was talking a little bit yesterday about not being able to re-sign Brunson. I mean, right now they are tied with the Thunder. Let me look at their last 2 games though, because it's crazy to me. A team that was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and like it is looking very realistic that they are not even going to make the play-in after acquiring Kyrie Irving. Like, I know we were sitting here on that episode, like, you know, we were previewing the Super Bowl and talking trade deadline. We were like, oh yeah, the Suns and Mavericks, like, that could very easily be the Western Conference Finals. Like,
Yep.
thinking those are going to be the 2 best teams. And, like,
Yep.
now best case scenario would be, which I think the Mavs fans would be, like, elated, would be if they get to the second round and play the Suns. Because
Exactly.
that would require them to, 1, get in the play-in, win 2 games in the play-in, and then
Yep.
somehow upset the Nuggets in the first round. Like, right now, I don't think that's very possible. All right,
No.
so looking here, the Mavs' last 2 games are the Bulls and the Spurs. Obviously, the Spurs are out of it. I don't think that game really matters for the Bulls.
The Bulls
either.
and the Spurs, and then the Thunder have the Jazz and the Grizzlies. So a team that's just below them. I'm pretty sure the Jazz are out after last night. Pretty positive, but
Let me look.
yes, I think they're 2 games out.
The Jazz
Oh,
are
they're a
technically
game and a half.
still in it. They're not eliminated
Yes,
yet.
they are a game and a half. So the Jazz could beat the Mavericks and be sneaky in there. This is the best time of the year. Like, I love this for the NBA because this is the best time of the year for the NBA, I'm saying. It is because I love that these games matter so much. Jazz could win 2, Mavs and Thunder lose out, the Jazz get in. Like, it's really interesting, and these games really do mean a lot. So, like, that Dallas game last night meant a lot for them against Sacramento. They squeaked that one out, 123-119. After being down through all 3 quarters. But yeah, the Mavs definitely are a team to keep an eye on. That would be insane if they made all these buy-in moves to get Kyrie, and then they look outside in not making the playoffs. That would really be shocking. So it's going to be exciting to see these last games wrap up.
No, definitely. And then looking over at the Eastern Conference here, well, we already have a confirmed series in the Cavs and the Knicks, so that should be a fun one. And then, yeah, it's all wrapped up. The Bulls, Hawks, and Raptors have all clinched a play-in berth. And then the Heat and Nets are kind of battling out here for the last spot. But, yeah, what's your big storyline in the East? Because, I mean, well, the Sixers, they beat the Celtics the other night, but they're still 2.5 games back. It's probably going to be tough to catch them. I mean, is Joel Embiid, like, has to be, like, the MVP now? Like, right?
Yeah. I think there's no questions asked after that 50. I think he still had it locked up prior to 52 the other night against Boston, but I think that 52 secured it, locked it, put it in the briefcase, send it out, ship it. He's the MVP. There should not be an argument about that, and I still think there will be, which is surprising, like really surprising, but I do think he's got to be the MVP at this point. You agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just have not been keeping up with the NBA as much lately. It's just been so much
Hectic.
drama. Has almost kind of
hectic. Yeah.
turned me off. I'm like, oh my gosh. Plus, I'm just, it was very locked in on March Madness. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But
I mean,
for the
Brooklyn's playing
East,
better.
yeah, for the East, it's got to be the Brooklyn Nets, man. They were definitely a team I could see after these moves that were made, letting go Kyrie, moving on from Durant. When you were the 3rd seed, I really thought there was a chance they could. I wouldn't say slip out of the playoffs, but definitely slip into a play-in game. And they've stayed up strong. McCall Bridges, Cameron Johnson, they've been carrying that team and that load, and they've maintained at a 6 seed. I do think that the Heat we spoke about with the Jazz, so there is a chance. However, I think the Nets will stay at that 6 seed, and yeah, they've caught my eye. For a team that, in my eyes, should have fallen to a play-in, they've really stayed afloat and head above water, and that's definitely something surprising considering your best scorer and best player is probably McCall Bridges, which everyone knows he's a phenomenal player, but is he a 1 on a playoff team or even a championship team? No chance. So I think that's interesting. I like that they're still competing and they didn't kind of just give up and wash it away. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. However, they do probably end up having to play that Bucks team or that Celtics team. That's going to be a little scary if they have to play in those play-in games. But yeah, the Nets are still staying afloat even without Ben Simmons, which I don't think anyone is surprised that he's out again. But yeah, for me it's the Brooklyn Nets in the East. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that Knicks Cavs series. Those are two teams.
Yeah.
The Knicks, after a down year last year, bounced back this year. I mean, that was a really fun series a couple years ago between them and the Hawks in the Garden. I could see, Donovan Mitchell maybe a little bit being that villain mode. But yeah, the Cavs are a team that's been really fun to watch. I've enjoyed seeing them, succeed without LeBron. So that's definitely a series I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Probably the one I'm most excited for in the East.
Yeah, for sure. I want to ask you a quick question. It's way too early.
Okay.
Way too early. But give me your East and your West.
Like who's me in the finals?
Two. Yes, 2 East, 2 West. Not the finals, the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
Give me your 2 just early predictions, and I'll give you my 2. Just, I'm sure we'll have an NBA episode out for you guys when the playoff picture is finally set, giving our actual picks and everything, but we're just going to give a little pre-examine picks right here. So who do you think?
Well, I currently think the Nuggets and Suns are the 2 best teams in the West, but how it falls, they're gonna play in the second round.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Nuggets.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go Warriors. I'm gonna go Nuggets Warriors. I think they're a team built for the playoffs. They have the experience. I like their draw in getting first love the Kings, and I'm high on the Kings, but I don't know. I think, not having that playoff experience kind of matters. So I'm going to go them. And then, yeah, I think they'd beat the Grizzlies. I'm not really super high on the Grizzlies or the Lakers if the Lakers somehow get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Nuggets, Warriors. Out East, I'm going to go Bucks, Celtics. I think by far they've kind of been the 2 best teams all year in the East. I know the Sixers are knocking on the door there. Obviously beat them recently. I still just think Boston's better. And
that's fair.
I think those.
Yeah, Boston and Denver have been arguably the best 2 teams in my opinion all year.
I know. Well, I think that was probably around Super Bowl time as well when it was the trade deadline. We gave our a boom and bust in the NBA, and I know the Bucks and Celtics were our teams. I forget who it was out. I want to say one of us was the Nuggets, and then I forget who else we said. Maybe it was the Suns. So.
I think it might have been the Suns, or I think it might have been Dallas even. We got to go back and look
Honestly,
at that.
Yeah,
we'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
There's a good chance. So, all right, there we go. So you got in your West, you're rocking with Denver and Golden State, and in the East, you're rocking with Bucks Celtics. I like that. All right, I'm gonna go a little different route here in the West. I'm still gonna stick with the Nuggets, but I can't take the Lakers. They'd have to play them.
No, the Lakers potentially could play the Nuggets in the conference finals if the Lakers
true.
stay at the 7.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, hopefully the Lakers stay at 7. I'm going to go Nuggets-Lakers. I think the Lakers have been resting a lot, with AD. Not resting necessarily, more off both of them off injury, him and LeBron. But I do think at the end of the day, that's more rest than some of the teams who've been competing all year, like Denver and Memphis and Sacramento, for instance. So I'm going to go Denver and the Lakers. I think you can never count out LeBron when you get him in the playoffs. And then in the East, I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to take the Sixers and the Bucks, I think. I think I'd like to see that. We know all the feud over the course of the year between James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, I would love to see them play against each other yet again, like they did when KD's toe was over the line. God, he wears too big of a shoe. But yeah, I kind of want to see those two match up. As much as Boston, I do think has been the second best team or the best team in the East, as Philly's been the third. I think, like you said, Philly's riding right there on the coattails. They're not far behind them. So I'm gonna go Philly and Milwaukee for my way too early Eastern Conference Finals predictions.
I like that. I like that. And then here, just to wrap up NBA, just to get one kind of drama storyline in there. I know you said you maybe didn't hear about this, but I'll read it to you. So about a week ago now, Bradley Beal confronted by fan over gambling loss, and now police are involved. So it was after their game in Orlando. Apparently a fan went up to Beal and told him that Beal cost him $1,300, and they kind of got into it, and obviously, it was, let's see here, Beal said his job he takes seriously, so complaint states the probable cause exits to charge Beal with simple battery. So, like, this was like a physical altercation.
Oh, wow.
We've seen Kyrie and some other guys like talk about this. Like, are fans in the NBA, like, are they making too much like a big deal with like gambling? And like, are they like going too far now here? Because we're seeing, DMs of guys like messaging players like, "Oh, you cost me my parlay."
Yeah.
Like, what's your take on this? Like, do fans need to back it off? Do players kind of need to like be like, "Hey,
this is a really
this
good
part of the
question.
game." What do you think on this?
This is a really good question. I like this, Derek. We're getting into the spicy stuff here on the Boomer Bust Pod. I like this. Yeah, I'm a little on both sides here. Like, we look at Trae Young for one, tweeting out like F parlays and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of players who seem to kind of look at their lines. It seems like the players who seem to have the media attention grab of tweeting out after games or prior to games about, "Oh, be ready, I'm locked in," because his rebound line is at 11.5 or whoever we're talking about. I do think players need to focus on playing the game, and they shouldn't give a rat's ass, as some would say, about what their line is set at. That should not even be a thing they look at or know about in general. But so many people are on social media, so they're going to keep an eye on it, which Trae Young, in my eyes, is one of those guys who looks at his line every night before he goes to bed. So that aspect, it's like, just focus on playing basketball. But to the fans aspect, yeah, we got to chill. There's too many instances of like players and people tweeting and sending voice memos to other athletes saying, "You cost me this, you fucking suck." That one Paolo Banchero one I saw of a guy who would have made like 150 grand and Paolo didn't get 20 points or something like that. He got like 6 his season low. There's no reason we should be attacked. These guys are out there getting paid to play this sport and entertain us fans. We are choosing to place bets on these guys because of what we think they should do. Well, guess what? That's not always going to happen. What I think I should do when I wake up in the morning everything might not get done when I go to bed that night. So it's that we got to stop harassing these players, and like it's gone a little too far. That's the little bit of a disconnect I think there between sports betting and watching sports. It's always fun to sit down and watch a sports game. You can yell at the screen as much as you want because you're in your own house. But when you're at the stadium and Bradley Beal's walking to the tunnel, you can just make a little comment. Bradley, you cost me $1,300 though, but good game. Something light. But if you're attacking the man and saying, "Dude, what the F," and this, I think that's when we draw the line. It's a little too far. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I think we need to stop this. It's just ruining the community, and it's making players' headaches even worse. And it's like, then what player's going to want to go sign autographs after that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, one fan tells him, "You just ruined my day. I could have won this." A bunch of little kids are coming up to him, but he's probably upset now. He's like, "Dude, I should have scored this." Don't make this psychological. Just let the players play basketball. Let us place our bets. If it cashes, if it cashes. If it doesn't, oh well. That's why you place it the next day. Yeah, I don't know. I went on a little rant there. It's a little long, but I'm not big into it. I hate that we're attacking players now, though, in general. Like, just let them play their sport.
No,
what
I
about
agree.
you? Where do you think?
No, I mean, and I feel like it's really become like a big thing in NBA. Like, I don't know, maybe it is a thing in other
mainly
sports.
NBA.
But I
Yep.
feel like it's mainly NBA just because there's so many different things you can bet on, like stat-wise.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not a bit like maybe that's another reason why I haven't been as into NBA this year. It's like it's just become so much like down your throat, like, "Oh, betting, like here are the lines," and like I really like I don't like guys like going at players. Like maybe once it's like funny, but and like you'll get like funny DM replies. But yeah, I mean, it really hasn't become. I don't think the players think it's funny. I think it like is a lot of the replies you see are very hostile.
Exactly, and like Bradley Beal with the somewhat of a battery, like it's clearly hitting the heart. Like you just don't let the guy just probably lost a game, had a bad night. Let him walk off. Like,
And it's
just let
also
him
it's like dudes place these ridiculous like 20-leg parlays like.
yeah,
No shit, and it's not gonna hit. Like that's not
hit,
Bradley Beal's
exactly.
fault. That's your fault
Yeah.
for being a moron. Like betting,
Exactly.
you need all these things to happen. Like, if this would happen, my $2 would became like 1,000. Like,
Yep.
like,
And it's the same. It's the same fans that would hit the bet, and they're like, "Oh my God, Bradley Beal, you're the best." Well, then when you lose the bet, why are you crying and throwing a fit? Just keep it the same. Be happy if you win a bet. Be upset if you don't, but don't take it out on the players. It's nothing they can control. They're just out there playing basketball. If their coach says you're taking 6 to 8 shots a game, you're taking 6 to 8 shots a game. I'm not. My boss tells me to go take out the trash. I'm not just saying no.
yeah,
Somebody tells you what to do, you got to do it. And it's like, I don't know. And like you stated with NBA, I feel like just every commercial break and every announcer, like there's games where the announcers, even in college, I've been hearing like, well, the spread's at -11. Oh, for the 3, and they cover the spread. It's like, okay, sports betting is fun, but to the people like my mom and family who don't care about sports betting, why are we commentating about sports betting and lines and stuff?
yeah. It's
I'm not
going a little
big
too
on that.
far. And I don't know. I almost like wouldn't even call those people fans. They're really not
Yeah.
fans of a team. They're just like betting on the games. So,
Exactly. Yeah, literally. Like you're not a Bradley Beal fan. You just do a 30-leg parlay together. Like,
Yeah.
don't be mad at that guy.
Be mad at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely taking it way too far. So it's definitely something they need to dial back, but don't know how that's gonna happen. But
All right. Well, then to wrap the show up, us giving some betting advice here. Masters weekend this weekend. Matt, what are some bets you like for the Masters? Who do you have as your winner?
I was on the fence for the last 2 nights about this, really, really debating. But I went with where my heart lied, and I'm taking Tony Finau. He's a dog. He shows up big in these moments. I think he's a very calm and collected golfer. As we see, he got the little PJ hat on over here. He's a little calm and collected golfer, and I like those kind of guys. You know, they're not flamboyant. They're not out there ecstatic, talking to all the media, chirping up a storm, tweeting on Twitter. He's just out there focused on the grind, and he's got to get the job done. So I like Tony Finau, but another sleeper I like just possibly is Justin Thomas. You know, he's already sitting -1 through 12 today. Looking good. Yeah, and then I got a little, if anyone out there wants to throw a little sneaky bet down, I got a top 10 finish for Jason Day.
Jason Day. Okay.
It's a sleeper. Throw a couple sprinkle on that one. Nothing crazy, just a little sprinkle though. But how about you? You look at anything? Gonna go with anybody? I know you're not a big golf fan.
I
I'm not a
know
big
very
hockey
little
fan.
about golf.
Just take a guy you know. Just say a
Mainly,
name, I guarantee.
mainly what I know is like occasionally if I don't flip the channel and Sports Center's talking about golf, or if like Pardon My Take talks about it. And well, I did read a couple things this morning. From what I'm hearing, Scotty Scheffler is playing really well right now. I know he's the favorite, so that's kind of a boring
Yep.
pick. I saw Rory McIlroy up there. That's a name I
Yep,
recognize. So
We
maybe,
love
maybe,
Rory.
maybe
We
go
love
with him.
Rory.
Shoot, yeah. See, I don't really even know like any like long shots. Like, I know they always talk about Max Homa. What are the odds of Max Homa winning at plus
He's
4,000?
definitely a top 10 favorite. He's definitely a top 10.
He's still a
top
favorite.
15
Okay,
favorite.
so that's really not even that much of a limit.
But if he's falling a little bit, he could be slumping right now. I'm not watching currently, so could be slumping. So you can get some good value on him. Homa's a dog.
There you
so-
go. Okay. What is your like
go.
take
We
on
wrapped
live?
up.
I know a big debate is like the live players this weekend. What are your take on that? Like, do you think live players are going to do well or no?
I don't know. I think these PGA guys are kind of out to prove a point. I'm not going to lie. Not that Liv's going to not perform good. I just don't expect anybody from Liv to win. I mean, I'll eat my words if someone does. Go ahead. But I think the PGA players are kind of out to prove that, like, you know what? We're still playing on American soil here. We're still staying true to who we are in this sport. It's not all about the money. So I think they're going to be out a little hungry. I definitely think as a collective PGA group, I think they want somebody to come out of this winning from the PGA. But I think the live golfers, they were asked, they're not as much worried about it. I definitely think it's a more media driven thing. Like they were talking to Bryson DeChambeau, and he's out there he's like, yeah, I was talking to Tiger for a half hour. I was talking to Xander Shuffle for a little bit. Like, they're all good friends. It's not more of them against them. I think it's more of a media-driven narrative about the Live Golf. But yeah, there's not many of them in it, so that's for sure. I think there's 4 or 5.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely more of a media stir in the pot than the players themselves. But I do think the players want a PGA player to win for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know. I heard a couple of my buddies say it's just like, oh, Live golfers, they haven't played competitive golf in months because there's like no cuts and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure the validity on that because I'm not a golf guy. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Another good episode in the books here. Thank you so much to everyone who's been listening. I've noticed our viewer count has been higher lately, so I want to thank everyone for that. I'm trying to look into how to get this on different audio-only platforms like Spotify, Apple. So if you know how to do that, comment down below. Help me out.
Let us know. We're out here researching and looking to figure it out.
If you've been listening, multiple times, I mean, shoot, we've been getting more viewers than our subscribers, so we clearly have some people who are listening who aren't subscribed. So while you're down there, we'd really appreciate if you could click that subscribe bell or subscribe button and notification bell. Help us continue to grow, because right now we got a good thing going. Trying to do it more frequently. I know I'm on break this week, so I got some stuff coming out tomorrow and Saturday for some other sports. So keep Matt,
keep an eye out for that.
What you got for the people to wrap up here?
Enjoy your weekend. If you celebrate Easter, enjoy time with the fam. If you're doing something with the fam, never take it grateful. We're not promised tomorrow ever on this floating rock. So, just live life, be happy, and don't overstress about things, man. Just come hang out at the Boomer Bust Pod and watch a couple episodes. Drop a follow, drop a comment, drop a like, thumbs up don't hurt, and maybe just turn on the notification bell. Turn on the Noti gang. Where you at? This episode will be out, Friday at about 10 a.m.?
Yeah, it probably should be pretty early Friday.
Pretty early Friday. Keep an eye out for it, though. But, yeah, it can't hurt to turn on the noties and stay positive, stay true to who you are, and let's have a good weekend. We'll be back sometime, Monday?
Yeah, probably Monday. Yes, sir.
Cool.
Inspirational Matt to wrap up the show. There we go. All
right.
Starting
the weekend right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.